In today's episode, we begin conference play with a home game against the Washington Huskies. Seeing as how we've watched all three of the first three games, I don't imagine we will watch the Washington game, even though it is a visit week. I think the more important visit week is probably next week. That might have a bigger impact on whether somebody commits or not. But before we get into recruiting or the gameplay or anything, I wanted to talk about one slider adjustment that I am making. That's to do with the transfer portal. Last year, I put the max transfer all the way to the max, mostly because I wanted the most 12 overall players off of my team. But it resulted in a lot of the smaller schools getting absolutely gutted, and it created a bigger gap than there is, which I don't necessarily mind that in a sense, but I don't want smaller schools to get just absolutely deuced on every single year. I've also seen just a little bit too many of the best players in college football transferring, so we're going to keep this even as well. We're just going to go down to 50 here, test out if this makes good enough difference or anything. Not going to go too crazy down to like 40 or anything. We'll just go down by 5 points and go back to what the default setting is here for max transfers at 20. Earl Durham, our first recruit of our new season, comes a lot earlier than we got any recruits last year. That is the result of winning, and we don't even get the week 6 visit for Earl. He commits before even getting there. I think he had that week 5 visit to Arizona State, and he loved it. Whoa, we beat Washington in sim. Wow, this team sims well, apparently. Mo Asamoah for 228, 3 touchdowns and a pick. Was only 20 for 42, completed fewer than 50% of his passes, but Anthony DeBeer also, we didn't have a great run game, but we held them to just 19 points. Yannick Smith and Curtis Minor with touchdown receptions. We had 3 sacks. Didn't force any turnovers. We just played well defensively. Kept them under 20 points. And we won by 10. Looks like we might not be struggling so much in simulation, and week visits might not be terrible for us this year. A shocker. The Utah Tech Gremlins are 3-1 right now. That's crazy. So we pretty much wasted 45 points last week, bringing Alex Wheat on to a visit. I mean, Earl wasn't even into his top 3 yet, so I don't think it was a bad bet. It just didn't work out for us, really, in the end. But good news and bad news in the same week. 2 of the gems committed, only one of them was to us. Good news is, though, we now have 145 hours to spend. I don't think we're going to continue with Alex Wheat, mostly because his deal breaker isn't something that we'll be able to really. I mean, if we fully went after him, we do probably need one more. What do you call it? Quarterback. I don't know why I couldn't think of the word. We don't know enough really to do anything other than send the house. We'll see if 1 week of sending the house makes it look like we can eclipse Tulsa, even though not even started to recruit him until the very end here. Let's go back to putting full hours on these guys. Just because USC made more progress than us last week. Westbrooks, we might stick with 40. Let's go back to full 50 here. Sopoaga. Oh, yeah. In fact, that still might not be enough to hold off Oklahoma. How do we make so little progress when we were... Does he just... I mean, we have an A, a B, and a D minus there. It's not great, admittedly, but it's not horrible either. So Lacombo was in for a visit, and it worked splendidly. My goodness, he's committing after this week. We can probably just keep 40 on him, honestly. So we have A and 2 C's here. Did not work great. I'm starting to wonder if the hard sell would work better. Good news is we brought in another tackle who might not be a bust. We don't know. We haven't scouted him yet. I think that's roughly about the same amount that we gained sending the house, so I don't think switching back to it's going to be much of a help. I just think Tennessee must just have a much better hard sell. It would make sense that they have better pro potential and probably championship contender as well. So their Sunday player pitch is probably really good. This might be our last week with Stoneburner. I'm not quite ready to give up yet, although it might just be time. I added just some under-recruited 4-stars onto our board here, looking for some players that we might add. We just lost out on the receiver we wanted. Morgan Westbrook's probably reaching his top 8 next week, whereas D'Angelo Brewer might not. Don't have time to scout these guys right now. We'll probably scout them at some point. We just don't have the hours as it sits right now. DMing him won't really do much in the moment, but have a couple of linebackers that I'd like to make some progress on, but I just don't think now is going to be the time. But we might be getting some hours back next week for sure. So here is our weekly recruiting update once more. What are we going to look like against Big Ten competition here? We looked good last episode, but that was against FCS and Georgia Southern. We got demolished in the second half of BYU, and I'm hoping it's just not like that game here. And on 2nd and 6, Mo is going down to bring up a 3rd and long. Going deep, trying to take not a one-on-one shot. The safety was there for the help and did a nice job forcing the incompletion. Malik Washington, the sophomore quarterback, will be the man directing this Maryland offense. They're also going deep, but a great play downfield by Tucker to force the incompletion. Moving the chains there on the curl route. RPO into the flat. A juke move makes things happen. Now to the 25. Great play by Cash Dillon. Take it a big loss. 3rd and 13 now. Washington unable to get the throw off. The pressure was right in his face. So we'll let him get downfield a bit, but the Utah Tech defense holding stiff once it got into field goal range and forcing Maryland to just 3. 3rd and 6. Maryland bringing the blitz, and it's a 3 and out for the Gremlins here. The offense was not prepared for that blitz at all. Free rushers got to Mo before he had a chance to really do anything. The give on 2nd and 2 is a big gain right up the middle. Back to the running back here, and he's moving the chains again. Planted into the ground by Brenton Williams. Not until he had the conversion. 1st and 10. Williams again showing up. First sack of the game for Utah Tech. We'll make it a tough 2nd and long here, but there's a massive hole right up the middle for the touchdown. Nobody was in sight for Utah Tech. Definitely playing for the pass there. Josiah McLaurin in for the rushing touchdown. He had a good drive altogether. 3rd and 2. Shorter down in distance here. enough to keep the run game in play, and that's Anthony DeBeer picking things up. Play action. Mo finds his tight end, crossing the middle for a conversion. 3rd and 5. The pressure gets to Mo again, and these 3rd down sacks are absolutely killing Utah Tech in this first quarter. The give once more. Another massive hole for McLaurin up the middle. What is going on with our run defense here as we transition into the second quarter? Was that a guy wearing 53 playing tight end for Maryland? I mean, respect, man. He must be a blocking specialist, former center or something. Once again, Maryland forced to a field goal here, so still just a 2-score ball game. 2nd and 8. Mo holds onto the ball way too long, and he goes down on the sack. Wyatt, the man to get there, and on 3rd and long, bringing the blitz again. I mean, at this point, it's starting to get a little predictable. Maryland's bringing the heat on 3rd down, and we're just not keeping any additional blockers in, but it was definitely that 2nd down sack that hurt the most. And unfortunately, when you go 3 and out, especially when you go backwards, you're giving the other team the ball instantly in field goal range with our punting situation. Picked off! Big time play by the defense, one that we desperately needed as Maryland was about to take a 20-0 lead that would have made this feel out of reach already. But it's our senior corner, Evan Johnson, coming up with the big play, trying to make a throw on the move, and he just jumped the route. But on 3rd and 8, Maryland brings pressure again. Once again, no additional blockers. Luckily for us this time that he was even able to get the throw off and avoid the safety. 3rd and 5. And, you know, it just sucks that when you force a 3 and out, the other team could still kick a field goal. Punting is definitely a big issue. It is a miss for Maryland, though, so the score remains the same. And we actually get some solid field position out of that possession. 2nd and 11. We've got Yannick Smith, catch and run yardage. He is going to the crib. Touchdown, Utah Tech Gremlins. Yannick Smith has been such a great big play threat. He doesn't have blinding speed, but he knows how to get open. And he's got enough speed that he can run after the catch. And the Gremlins are on the board here for the first time in this game. We are more than halfway through this second quarter now. Washington gets that throw beyond the sticks, just barely. RPO. Moves the chains once more on a 2nd and 2 play. Washington, clean pocket, over the middle. He's got his tight end number 53 again. I mean, don't let the number fool you. This guy can ball. Going deep towards the end zone. Broken up in the back of the end zone. Great play defensively. 3rd and 10 now. The throw was short of the sticks. The tackle was made. Finally, Utah Tech showing some pressure on a 3rd down, taking a play out of Maryland's playbook. And we're keeping Maryland out of the end zone at a pretty good clip here defensively. And our defense just in general is playing well as Anthony DeBeer gets free on an outside run play. But our offense in these 3 and outs and these sacks that we've been taking right on cue here. The 6th sack of the first half, 3rd and 17. I mean, what are the odds this is another one? Another blitz, another free rusher, another sack, and another play where on 3rd and long we don't bring in any extra blockers. What is our offensive coordinator doing? How many 3rd down blitzes that get home does he need to see before he starts to keep the tight end or the running back or heck even both in the block? 3rd and 15, under a minute left in the half. Washington on the run finds a man short of the line to gain, so it looks like yet another field goal, but it will not be. Instead, the Terps stay out on the field for 4th and 3. Tight end in motion, the give to the back. He's got well beyond the first down yardage. Our run defense certainly has looked suspect at times in this half, despite the fact that I think overall they've played pretty well, but Maryland knocking on the door. We are to 10 seconds remaining. This will be the final play prior to a field goal attempt, and Cash Dillon catches up to the running back in the backfield. 19-7, assuming this is a made field goal here, will be the score heading into the half. Field goal is up, and it's another miss. Man, these guys cannot hit from that hash down close, and it's kind of funny here, but it's just been kind of death by 1,000 cuts. We're down by 9, and all 9 of those come from field goals. We had that one kind of busted run fit for the touchdown, but otherwise our defense has played about as well as they could have with a terrible hand that they've been given. Oh no, come on! The opening kickoff of the second half is going for a house call. I was just about to say that our defense is playing well enough that if our offense can figure it out, we have hope. And that Maryland was finally going to be set up not in great field position like they have been all game, but the opening kickoff return and then yet another 3rd down sack. I mean, it's just crazy at this point. Washington, read option, plenty of space, jukes out a man, down inside the 25-yard line. Great play from the sophomore quarterback. Now the give, another explosive run play. This time gets them inside the 5. McLaurin now 85 yards on his 10 totes. 2nd and goal. Spread out, read option. Brenton Williams been playing really well in this game. Has made some splash plays for us. 3rd and goal in the backfield. Down for a loss, and once again, field goal. This game, despite the fact that it's been so incredibly dominated by Maryland, still it feels like we should be down 30. We're not even down 20 yet because Maryland's been really scoring 3 points at a time. Finally didn't take a sack on 3rd down, but that's because we ran the ball on 3rd and 13, which that had no chance. Back to Maryland now. And we actually force a punt. The punt was actually good enough that they weren't instantly in field goal range. A big loss for DeBeer here. He just could not get anything going on the ground all game long. 3rd and 14 all day for Moa Samua. I'm guessing that was probably a 4 verts play that didn't get anybody open. And another 3rd down sack, although that one was maybe more of the standard variety. It wasn't pretty much an instant pressure. But as we near the end of the 3rd here, it is just going to be another field goal by Maryland on a drive that stalled, but they already had the ball pretty much in field goal range from the beginning of the drive. This game, more than any other game, convinced me of one thing, and I was also done watching this game, by the way. I think I'd seen enough 3-and-out, 3rd down sacks going into field goal drives. We know the story of this game. We would get a 4th quarter touchdown here. But it's very clear to me now, as we've watched our 4th game of the season, that going against, Maryland's going to be one of the easiest matchups we have in the Big Ten. And they just dominate us at the line of scrimmage. Chunk run plays on one end was our one weakness here defensively in this game. And just instant pressures. A lot of them were blitzes that we should have had extra blockers in, but sometimes we were just getting absolutely beat as well. We are not fit to compete at the Big Ten level at the lines of scrimmage right now. Moa Samua, I think, had some moments. He ends up with 2 touchdowns, no picks. Negative 73 rushing yards, though, because of all those and many sacks. We got to bear the ball a little bit in the run game because he wasn't able to, in the pass game, because he wasn't able to get anything going in the run game. It wasn't even just one guy on our offensive line. Everybody was giving up sacks is the problem. But we were getting dominated all game long in almost every aspect except for maybe our secondary played well. Good news after the blowout, however, is Anthony Lacumbo has still decided to come to the program. Morgan Westbrook, who we haven't really put any effort into, has locked us out. That's fine. I did end up changing around the hours a little bit from what I ended up showing last week because I wanted to get Chubb in on a visit. I felt that was important. So he's now visiting week 7. And I need to put some of these players back on 50 hours. Including I probably need to schedule a visit here. Right now they're saying that we're a better team than Minnesota. I guess just because we're 3-2. I bet by the time that actually gets here, that won't be the case. Let's go conference prestige here. And then we can also put the 10 extra hours into them. I don't know if we're ever going to get any of these 4 stars that we've added to our board because we've never been able to really put any hours into them. So we made more progress on Stoneburner than Tennessee did last week. So we'll keep going there. Almost got to the top 5 for PJ Powell. Onto the board for D'Angelo Brewer. And yeah, we'll get 50 hours back here. I want to just see how possible it was that we could eclipse that late. So we've got 2 people offering Demario Blunt. I wish we could scout these guys. So Demario Blunt's more likely to stay longer as long as we're playing him. But it's hard to say which one I want more because I don't know what their speed is, and speed plays a big role. Hopefully we'll be getting decisions soon on guys like Penny and Chubb and Stoneburner, who are all in their top 3 now. So we're already on the board for Dom Brackett, which is why I'm not super concerned, even though TCU is now making a play. So who is likely to reach their top 8 soon? Vaitai probably will, and I don't think 1 week's gonna put us on his board. All these other guys, geez, my voice just cracked so bad. I want to put one on one of these mics for sure. Let's I heard that Thumper's usually kind of better for speed. And he also only has 1 offer, but it's to a school with a 5-tier pipeline. This is tough. We're already going to get a tight end in this class, so I'm not as worried about Corbin. Yeah, it's going to be one of these linebackers. I mean, we could put a little bit into both of them, right? But which one are we going to go after full bore? We're going to go Dalton. It's going to be the risk we take, and then we'll put 10 points here into, into Demario Blunt. That is going to be what we do for the week. And Chubb's going to be close, but we have a visit this week. So that's going to be good. If he doesn't commit, though, then he has a visit to Kansas the week after, and then to North Texas the week after. So we got to hope that he commits this week. Penny, we just have to hope he commits before week 10 and we don't get into a recruiting battle. Said the same thing with Asamoah last year and it ended up working out for us. Hopefully we can go 2 for 2 there. Gotta hope Tennessee continues to kind of pull out of this race, honestly. And I think this is the best that we can do for this week. In simulation, we got a Big Ten Defensive Player of the Week. We'll see what we did against Wisconsin here in a moment. Looks like we did lose, so we're not that insane in simulation, I guess. But, 45-7. That might actually hurt our chances of getting that receiver, especially because he did not commit after this week. But going ahead and looking at the box score here, we just got... So we had a fun start to Big Ten play. Marquis Blunt was the lone player to find the end zone, and Anthony the Beer's injured. Oh no. Let me see, where do we go here? Probably I guess we could just injury reports right here in team. Our starting center's out, so our offensive line's even worse, and then Anthony the Beer is out for 3 weeks. I was already thinking we might not watch another game this year. Not having the Beer in a starting center makes me even more likely to do it. If we did watch another game, it would be a rivalry game, but UCLA's 8-0, undefeated in conference. They would absolutely demolish us. They have a 30-plus point gap, so I'm not sure. We'll have one more episode this season. Whether or not it contains a game is yet to be seen. Sopoaga we're just losing on, unfortunately. I don't even think he's not going to make it to week 10, I don't think, especially because he has 2 visits with better schools before that. Back down. So Tennessee did come back for Stoneburner. We're losing out on him too. Oh man, we're losing at the last second with some of these guys that we put so many hours into. We chose 50 for the right player here, although, I mean, yeah. Oh no, he didn't reach his top 8 yet. We would have been in his top 8 had he reached it though. There's no way Tennessee doesn't get him right. We might go into a recruiting battle, but that's... Sopoaga, even though we scheduled him for a visit, is the one that I think... Whoops. I meant to click on him before I did that. Even though we've already scheduled a visit, the other 2 teams in the race have also already scheduled visits before ours. Oklahoma's making... They've been making more progress than us for a while now, so they're pretty consistently going after this guy. It hurts. It hurts to just take guys off your board that you've put so much work into. We need a penny commit this week. Although it could be next week too. USC's been slowly catching up to us forever by a tiny bit. Our 3-star pipeline has been carrying some water for us. We probably should have scheduled this guy for a visit, but we didn't. That would have easily been a commit, especially because it was only... I see. So because I took over Purdue, even though I'm literally in Lehi, Utah, it costs 40 hours to schedule a visit for somebody that's less than an hour from our campus, because they're saying where Purdue is. That's terrible. If you have us put a location on our school, why is that not the location on the school? That makes no sense that we're taking over, just because we took over Purdue, that we're taking over Purdue's location. Why even have us put a location on our college then in Team Builder? What's the point of it if it doesn't actually mean anything in the Dynasty? That's a pretty terrible oversight, if you ask me. And something that should be an easy fix. But it's not. So All right, we have 110 hours. Let's go ahead. Let's just, well, I mean, we can do, what we can do is this. We can just go full 50 on these two now. So we're pursuing, oh, Powell also just reached his top 5. We'll see what his other check mark is here, what his other interest is. One of them is really good, one of them is really bad. If it's this, that's terrible. If it's this, that's still not all that good. We might be sticking with some of the house. Is there anyone else? Yeah, like Duke's not really offering. All these guys that are offering him aren't really trying. We can try a week 10 visit with him. But we don't have to schedule it this week. Oh, we're going to lose a couple of these guys last second. It's really unfortunate, but it is what it is. That's where we are for this week. And that's also, I think, where we're going to end off this episode. Week 8 and on will be in the next one. We'll see what we can finish with in this recruiting class. And then hopefully by next year, we will have a competent team. Definitely going to recruit a punter. Probably not going to do that until the offseason, though. I feel like not only will there be more options, but it's just I don't, even though we desperately need a punter, I don't want to use these precious hours on that position yet. I think the transfer portal will be the better time, or the offseason will be the better time to pursue that. But hope you enjoyed the episode, and if you're excited for the next one, drop a like on the video as it lets me know that you want this series to continue. I'll see you in the next one. Let's go Gremlins.